Understand that life constantly presents us with challenges, and in the midst of these difficulties, we often wonder why things seem so complicated. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you try, the money is never enough? That your dreams are always beyond your reach, as if something invisible is blocking your path? This feeling is more common than you think, and maybe you're experiencing it right now. Maybe you're tired of working so hard and feeling like the return is never proportional to your effort. And in these moments, it is natural for doubt to arise. Has God forgotten me? But I want you to know that this is not the truth. God never forgot you. He is by your side every step of this journey, even when you don't realize it. Often, difficulties are called to reflect on the way we are living, on the beliefs we carry, and that may be limiting us. The scarcity you feel may not just be financial, but emotional, spiritual. It's as if a void has installed itself, taking away your peace and confidence in the future. And it is exactly at this moment that transformation can happen. God teaches us that prosperity is not only a right, but also a reflection of our faith and our ability to trust. Lack, fear, the anguish of not being able to pay the bills or fulfill the simplest dreams are not His purpose for your life. He wants you to live in abundance, to have joy, to find peace even in the face of difficulties. However, you need to open your eyes to see what is stopping you from achieving this abundance. Sometimes the barrier we face is not outside, but within us. These are beliefs that we were taught from an early age, such as money is dirty. It is a sin to want more, or only through a lot of suffering can you achieve anything in life. These ideas, even if unconscious, shape the way we view money and prosperity. And as long as you carry these beliefs, it will be difficult to move forward. But there's good news. You can change that. It can free your mind from these limiting ideas and make space for abundance to flow in your life. This transformation begins with a decision, believing that God wants the best for you. When you open your heart to trust, something powerful happens. You begin to realize that everything that seems so far away can be achieved, not only on your own merit, but because God acts in your life, moving the pieces at the right time. This does not mean that the challenges will disappear overnight, but that you will have the strength and wisdom to overcome them. Because deep down, prosperity is much more than money. It is a state of mind, a certainty that you are on the right path, that you have the Creator's support at every step. And if you're thinking, that sounds nice, but how do I get there? The answer lies in faith and action. Faith to believe that things can change, and action to start transforming the small aspects of your life. God doesn't expect you to carry the world on your shoulders or solve everything alone. He wants you to trust, to surrender your fears to Him, and to begin taking small steps toward your own liberation. Remember, abundance starts within you. It starts when you decide to stop looking at scarcity and start seeing possibilities. When you realize that you are capable of creating something new, even if a scenario around you seems bleak. God never left you without resources. They are often hidden where you least expect them. It could be a talent you haven't yet explored, an opportunity that went unnoticed, or even a simple gesture of gratitude that completely changes your perspective. And speaking of gratitude, it is one of the most powerful keys to attracting prosperity. When you are grateful for what you have, even if it seems little, you are telling the universe and God that you trust Him. This attitude opens the doors for more blessings to come to you. Because deep down, God wants you to live fully, but He also wants you to recognize the gifts you have already received. So, instead of focusing on what you lack, start looking at what you have and use that as a starting point. You will be surprised to realize how small changes in the way you think and act can generate big transformations. And when that happens, you will understand that you were never alone. God has always been by your side, waiting for you to take the first step, to open your heart to trust. Prosperity is closer than you think. It starts within you, with a simple decision to believe. When you decide to believe, something inside you begins to change. It's as if a light turned on, illuminating paths that previously seemed dark and dead-end. Maybe you still ask yourself, but how can I maintain this faith when everything around me seems to be falling apart? The answer lies in the connection with God. He is the source of everything, and it is in Him that you will find the strength necessary to overcome any difficulty. It's not about never having problems, but about knowing that you will never face them alone. Think about the times you overcame situations that seemed impossible. It could have been a time when money came in at the last minute, unexpected help arrived, or an opportunity came when you least expected it. These were not mere flukes. They were signs that God was acting in his life. He's always there, even when you don't realize it. However, for these blessings to continue to flow, you must be open to receiving them. Oftentimes, we are so focused on the problems that we forget to look at the solutions that are right in front of us. God never leaves us helpless. He gives us tools, but it's up to us to use them. One of these tools is prayer. When you communicate with God, you are strengthening your connection with him and allowing his light to illuminate your mind and heart. Prayer is not just a request. It's a conversation, a delivery. It's where you can put your pains, your fears, your doubts, and at the same time, express your gratitude and confidence. What if I told you that the solution to many of your challenges lies precisely in this delivery? When you stop fighting alone and decide to trust God completely, something extraordinary happens. The weight on your shoulders lessens, and you begin to see possibilities where before you only saw obstacles. God does not want you to live in suffering. He wants you to prosper, to achieve your dreams, and to find joy in every step of your journey. But here's an important point. The prosperity God desires for you goes far beyond money. It is linked to your well-being, your inner peace, and your ability to live with purpose. Of course, money is an important resource and part of life, but it is just one of the many forms of abundance. Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes what we need most cannot be bought? Health, love, true relationships, and peace of mind are precious gifts that God offers us. At the same time, God does not want you to live in financial scarcity. He understands everyday needs and knows that money is an essential resource for you to live with dignity and comfort. Therefore, he invites you to trust that the provision will come at the right time, but also expects you to take actions that align your life with the principles of prosperity. One of these principles is generosity. It may seem contradictory, but when you give, even if you have little, you make room to receive more. Generosity doesn't just have to be financial. It could be a word of encouragement, a gesture of help, or even time dedicated to someone in need. God rejoices when we share what we have because it demonstrates trust in his provision. When you give, you're saying, I trust God to meet all my needs. Another fundamental principle is organization. Often, financial scarcity comes not just from a lack of resources, but from a lack of planning. God gives us wisdom to manage what we have, no matter how small it may seem. When you organize your finances, make conscious choices, and avoid waste, you're honoring the blessings that God has already given you. It's like planting a seed in fertile soil. In time, it will bear fruit. And speaking of fruits, I want you to remember that everything you sow, you reap. If you sow doubt, fear, and pessimism, you will likely reap more of the same. But if you plant faith, gratitude, and courage, you will see your life flourish in ways you can't even imagine. God gave us the power to create our reality through our thoughts and attitudes. That's why it's so important to watch what you think and say. Declare words of life about your situation, even if, to human eyes, everything seems difficult. By doing this, you will be putting your faith into action. And faith in action is like a flame that never goes out, even on the darkest nights. She is a strength that lifts you up when everything seems lost, the impulse that keeps you moving forward when you feel like giving up. God never promised a life without challenges, but he guaranteed that he would be with you through them all. And this certainty is what gives you the courage to continue. Therefore, today, I want to invite you to reflect on what is preventing you from living the abundant life that God planned for you. Is there something you need to surrender to him? Are there any beliefs, hurts, or fears that are blocking the flow of blessings in your life? Don't be afraid to leave it in his hands. God not only can carry your burdens, he wants to do so. He wants you to live free, confident, and fully connected to his purpose. Abundance is closer than you think. It begins with a simple decision to trust God and align your life with his principles. And from that decision, everything can change. When you decide to trust God and give him your worries, it's like opening a door that had been closed for a long time. Suddenly, light comes in and reveals that the blockages that seemed so big were actually shadows created by fear. Fear has the power to paralyze us, to make us believe that we are not capable, that we do not deserve it, or that nothing will work out. But the truth is that fear is a lie. It is the absence of faith, an attempt to separate us from God's plan. And what is God's plan for your life? He wants you to live fully, to experience the peace that comes from knowing you are on the right path. He wants you to understand that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, a chance to draw closer to Him and discover the strength He has placed within you. Because, yes, God made you strong. He gave you unique talents, skills that only you have, and placed within you the ability to overcome anything. Maybe you still can't see it. Perhaps life's difficulties have made you forget who you are, how much you have overcome, and how much you are loved by God. But today is the day to remember. Remember that you are not alone. Even on the darkest nights, when the silence seems deafening and the pain seems unbearable, God is there. He sees your tears, hears your prayers, and feels your anguish. And He promises, I am with you, do not fear. This promise is what can transform your life. When you believe that God is with you, something changes inside you. Hopelessness begins to give way to confidence. And you realize that no matter how great the challenge, it is not greater than the power of God. And it is exactly this confidence that leads you to act, to take the first step, even if you don't know what the entire path will be like. And you know what's amazing? When you take the first step in faith, God puts the ground where there seemed to be nothing. He moves circumstances, sends the right people, opens doors that were locked. But it all starts with your willingness to believe and act. Because faith without action is like a seed that is never planted. It has potential, but it will never bear fruit. So how can you start taking action today? First, free yourself from the beliefs that limit you. If you believe you will never have enough money, start declaring the opposite. God is my source, and He will supply all my needs. If you think you can't do it, remember that I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. Use your words to build, not destroy. Declare life, declare victory, declare abundance. Then look at what you already have. You may think you have nothing, but if you look closely, you will see that God has already placed resources around you. It could be a skill you never valued, an idea that's been stuck in your mind, or even an opportunity you haven't explored yet. God doesn't work with what you don't have. It starts with what you have now. Just as He multiplied the loaves and fish, He can multiply what is in your hands. But to do that, you need to act. And taking action doesn't always mean grand gestures. Sometimes it's doing what seems small, organizing your finances, studying something new, trying something different, offering help to someone. It is these small steps that, when added together, create the path to transformation. And as you act, continue to trust. Trust that God is in control, that He knows what is best for you, and that everything happens at the right time. God's timing is not always ours, and that can be challenging. It's hard to wait when the need is urgent, when it seems like nothing is happening. But remember, God is never late. He knows every detail of your life and knows exactly when and how to act. While you wait, He is preparing you. He is strengthening your faith, honing your character, and building something even greater than you can imagine. And in the meantime, be grateful. Gratitude is one of the secrets to attracting more blessings. When you give thanks for what you have, no matter how small it may seem, you're telling God that you trust Him, that you recognize His gifts, and that you are open to receiving more. So today, look around you and find reasons to be grateful. Maybe it's health, family, a friend, or even the simple fact of being alive. Every gratitude is a seed planted, and God is faithful to make it flourish. You were created to live in abundance, to be a reflection of God's love and goodness. And this abundance begins now, with your decision to trust, act, and be grateful. God has wonderful plans for your life, and all He asks is that you trust Him and move forward. Because when you put God at the center of everything, there is nothing you cannot achieve.